I'll start when you do.
Hi everybody, thanks for being part of this journey with me today. It's been a long one already for today too. My name is Jade Simone and I'm presenting to you Simone's Garden, which is a mindful alternative to alcohol culture. Basically our main staple is to try to create community without the negative effects of alcohol. So the first slide is going to talk to you about my motto, elevated sipping with mindful intent. So we've all been there, we've all had our fun nights, we all know every so often the person that has way too many in the room, or the DUI that happened unintentionally. Lots of uncomfortable things related to alcohol. Try not to say that as much. Start with the concept and the inspiration. Concept behind it, I chose mindfulness and tranquility. I think that we need more places, specifically in Southwest Florida, where we could just kind of be ourselves without having the pressures of alcohol, but we still love the social aspect of it. So we should be able to sit and have a cocktail or sit and have a happy hour, have a class where we can talk about herbs that are healing, at the same time enjoying them, and so on and so forth. To get that gist. My personal experiences that it comes from is growing up around a lot of heavy alcohol presence throughout family connections. 1 in 4 children have an alcoholic parent in the home. 178,000 deaths a year contributed to alcohol, just the United States. And that makes it 178,000 deaths contribute to alcohol means that opioids and guns are below that. So we glamorize alcohol like it doesn't poison us and poison our families, and we just kind of hide it and brush it under the rug.
This is the new one that I got done.
So our target customer, because that's what we're talking about today, is viability. Big stats in 40 and up women, believe it or not. You'd think that that was something they'd shy away with, but what they're more shy about is going into dispensaries or doing things that are taboo. So our venue will offer CBD and THC as an alternative, but we're going to focus on craft beers that are non-alcoholic. We're going to focus on adaptogenic drinks with like mushrooms and elixirs and so forth like that. But we're also going to host any kind of spirit that's a non-alcoholic elixir. There's a lot on the market, and it's a booming business, projected to be about over 200 billion in the next 10 years, but projected to pass billions in the next 2. Demographics, health conscious, sober curious people who focus on health as wealth. That's a huge category right now. We're starting to, especially Gen Z. Gen Z's been putting us on a lot. I don't look like Gen Z, but I'm not. I got a Gen Z kid, okay? They are so much further ahead of us than we think they are, and they don't settle. They don't settle. They want the best of the best, and they want it only if it's good for them. We really should listen more, honestly. Women and young professionals, we're looking for that too. I don't know how many of you are like me, but if I'm up past 10 p.m. now, that 8 a.m. alarm, really hard to get to, and never mind being up at 5 and having kids to school. It just doesn't match our lifestyle anymore. Creative seeking sensory-rich spaces. Experiential wellness is another huge winner in this category as well, because just like Professor was saying the other day, he could go in and may not want to drink alcohol because he's not an alcohol drinker. Maybe he wants to try a new drink, but if the experience is not there, we're not going to do it. And another thing with AI, the hospitality industry is now non-replaceable. Like AI can do a lot of things, but social connection is something that we can't live without as social creatures. And we shouldn't have to compromise. The problem, that's what I was explaining to you guys earlier, 1 in 10, 4 times more likely to be subject to those alcoholic uses in the home. 249 billion in costs harm to the U.S. that we pay out of pocket. That's billions with a B. $250 billion that we pay out of pocket for alcohol-related damages every year in the United States. 60% of adults feel pressure to drink even though they don't want to drink. I'm like that too. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, I want to drink too. Not everybody wants to drink alone. Because it also leads to other stuff. And this one here is even worse. It's 19 million kids. So 1 in 4 is a lot. When you hear 19 million out of the population of the United States that are affected by this, you kind of start to think why we don't hear about it more. So summary for the pressure to drink in bars. This is kind of just a quick slide I added in to keep us on track. We also lack non-alcoholic venues here. A lot of times you'll see people who have the Kava lounges. Kava, if you're not in a Polynesian island, you're probably not consuming Kava properly. And if you think Kratom is a safe alternative, I encourage you to do your research because it has effects on the brain just like opioids does. So a lot of people are becoming really into these Mitra 9s, if you've ever heard of those. Those are a ready-to-drink product on the market that has Kratom in it. It's not regulated, so you don't know what kind of dosage you're getting, and we don't have any studies on those as well. We need one. We need a place where we can all go, where we don't feel pressure, especially college students. Like, we're crying on young minds by glamorizing alcohol. So my solution, because Simone's Garden is an umbrella brand, but today we're talking about solely the first branch of it, I want to open Mary Jade's Elixir Lounge, where we have craft cocktails, because I've been in the hospitality industry for 15 years now. So that has given me insight into how important it is to have social connection, but how many lives are devastated because of it. As somebody who's been a bartender for more than 10 years now, in the hospitality for 15, every year I have to get certified by a place called Safe Serve that teaches me how to properly serve alcohol, so that you're not serving people too much alcohol, so that their blood intoxication level, so that you can witness what they are when they come in. Have they had other medications? Did they drink previously? If we don't do that properly, or if I don't card somebody, my ass is on the line, because then it comes back on me if somebody gets into a car accident and hurts somebody else. If they go into another establishment and they steal something. If anything happens to the employee, the business, the families, there's been multiple times where we sit down and we sit through these courses and they explain. Just last week, we had a lovely couple, they got married, they had our wedding reception here, they drove off on golf carts, somebody overserved them, and he hit somebody head on and died on his daughter's wedding day. That's all related to alcohol causes, over-serving, and just irresponsibility that I think can be easily avoided as long as we have an alternative to offer. The value proposition, I think, is clear at this point, that health is wealth. That is value. It's not anything that you can put a tag on. It's honestly priceless. I don't know about you, but there's paraplegics that are walking around today that were just driving home to their families that got hit head on by a drunk driver. That's the value. It sells itself. I don't have to pitch it to you guys. As the same, I didn't pitch it to anybody I talked to about it. Any interview I had, I sat and asked them to listen. I wanted to know what they seeked in non-alcoholic beverages, because a lot of people are like, well, what's the point? Why am I gonna pay $14 for a drink that doesn't have alcohol? But if you say it out loud after listening to this, why would you pay $14 towards your own demise? Why would you pay $14 times maybe 3 or 4? I don't know, if you've been to a Jay-Z concert in Miami, I paid $50 for those drinks, and I had 2. That's a lot, but I'm paying for my own demise. I'm putting my children at risk, I'm putting family members at risk, I'm putting strangers at risk, the officers that have to knock on the door to tell you your child's not coming home tonight. It's a pretty big deal. Everybody agreed. There was nobody that argued with that fact. So another thing that they talk about is people get nervous with the microdosing and the understanding, so that's pretty much the only kind of negative feedback or constructive criticism I've got, is that people are afraid to see an alternative, but it's because we don't talk about it. We glamorize alcohol. Again, we glamorize it so much. Every commercial you see, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a good time. It's not a good time after drink, maybe 2, depending on your weight. For me, I'm 125 pounds soaking wet. After drink 1, I'm like, maybe I should have a snack. I need something salty. Where are the olives from my martini? It just doesn't get comfortable, but we stay because we're having a good time, because we feel good, because we're connecting socially, because we're buzzing. We're interacting, and that's become so hard in a day like this that we didn't have to compromise our health to be able to learn how to do it again. 85% of people desire non-alcoholic space. 90% of respondents express interest, and 3 times, the increase in demand has gone up 3 times just in the last maybe 5 years. It's been a huge, huge bustling. I talked to the manager at Total Wine, because if you walk in there right now, there's a giant section of pre-made, ready-to-drink spirits, non-alcoholics, CBDs, microdosing, all kinds of different, which I also helped open a dispensary down here, so I have education in that as well. He said it's the fastest guy, really cool man, his name is Eric. He said, I've worked for this company for 20 years, and every time there's a fad, because he talked about the Hey Dad, I didn't drink them, but I don't know if you guys know what the Hey Dad situation is. There's seltzers, everybody went crazy for them. So it was the fastest growing product he ever seen, and this one has outlived it by 7 months, and it just started. So he said every 6 months or every quarterly inventory, they're adding more space for this industry specifically. And 70% of participants indicated they would visit a non-alcoholic lounge weekly. So to refine it, because it started my first pitch, it was kind of all over the place, but this is really helping hone in what my first steps I want to take towards it is. So the main focus is making sure everybody knows that CBD and THC are super optional and you will not be miseducated. Our staff will be educated. We want to hold classes that educate people on how to use it properly so that nobody's left out. I mean, we're all talking about inclusivity here too, so we're a little too comfortable with bringing children into the room with alcohol. So I think that we should just revisit that fact as a culture, as a people, and especially as Florida residents, because tourism is a huge thing here. There's bars on every corner. We're poisoning young minds when we don't have to. I think that's it. Thank you.
Perfect. Hang on, Judy, we're gonna have some questions.